Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the M103 review, the American Tier 9 heavy tank. So this is the first American heavy tank that you can call the jack of all trades, master of none. It's good at everything but not really good at anything, which might be a problem for some people. Comparing it to the other two heavy tanks that came prior to this, it does not have the turret armor, it does not have the gun depression. Instead it gets a really nasty gun though, if you decide to get one, because let's put it out there right away. There's a really valid grinding option on the M103, just skipping the gun, even maybe skipping the top turret, and just going straight for the E5 right away. You have to get the engine, which is 45k, and you have to get the E5, which is 185k. But you don't have to get the gun, that's 50 something, almost 60k, and you don't have to get the turret, that's 25k. So you basically save half of your grind if you decide not to get the turret and the gun. And the gun that you get is the gun you have to get to grind this really is again 120 mil, but quite less penetration, but it's not that bad of a horrible of a gun. So I think it's a really valid grind option, but it's up to you. The speed of this thing is alright. It's between a T32 and a E5. It's slower than the E5 and of course faster than the T32, which makes it about average. It's well, the speed is decent for a heavy tank. The hull armor is alright. The lower plate of course is weak spot. The upper plate is decent. It can still be penned if your angles are off or if the enemy has really high pen gun. The turret is crap basically. The only armored part of the turret is the gun mantlet, and the other parts that can bounce are the parts that are in extreme angles. Let's talk about the gun. As you can see, the gun can troll you so much sometimes, but 158 penetration, which makes it a really high penetration gun. The thing that the M103 had going for it is that the penetration was extremely high for a time when it got introduced, but after some other tanks came into the game, like the Conqueror, I think that M103 is outdated. As a strong DPM tank, it's completely outdated. As a jack of all trades, it's sort of outdated as well, because Conqueror just is better. And that's why I think if you're not like, oh my god, M103 is so pretty, I don't think this tank is gonna be a keeper. I don't think that anybody will enjoy this tank more than the Conqueror, because it's just the worst version of the Conqueror. The Conqueror gets shittier lower plate, and I guess the same shitty turret armor, but it gets a better gun, and it gets better DPM. So that's the things that matter in this line, I think. And so I would say, if you're like, oh my god, it's so pretty, I want to keep it for the rest of my life, I would recommend you to actually skip the top gun on this tank and go straight for the E5. That would be my recommendation. The grind with the stock gun is quite a bit worse though, so if you can't be bothered to play the tank with the stock gun, you will have a really long grind to get the gun and then to get the E5, but I guess it's less painful, that's for sure. So the choice is up to you. Not saying that M103 is a bad tank though. It can be frustrating at some points, but M103 really benefits from terrain. You need a lot of bumps in the terrain to do good in it, because going around corners with this tank will get you dead really quickly. First of all, you get tracked. Second of all, you get your armor damaged, because that's in the lower plate by the tracks. So don't get tracked sideways on. Like, this was a nice peek from that 5120, completely confused him, and that's a really bad way to fight with an 5120. But yeah, ammo rack is really vulnerable. Driver dies a bit as well. Gas tanks, as you saw, shot in the side, but then again my angling was completely off there. Now I managed to bounce shot with my hull, I believe. It wasn't the turret. And bounce another shot, so yeah, OP. And now I'll just take the shot for the Tiger too, because the IS-3 could bounce on me, but he is never going to bounce on the Tiger, and he didn't even fire at me, so I guess it was totally worth it. I guess the problem with M103 is that it falls in the same category as the IS-8. It's not necessarily a bad tank, but it follows tanks that are much better per tier than it is. And the same goes with the IS-8, IS-3 and IS, and K1S was much better than the IS-8 in its tier. And the same goes with the T29, even the T32 I believe was better than the M103. Well, no, I guess those two are quite equal. But yeah, the T-29 was with no doubt the strongest tank in this line so far. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this as a keeper, as a tank you will keep unless you really like how this tank looks. Because gameplay wise, there's better tanks to get, like no doubt. It used to be balanced around its high penetration, and I can understand when it got released and there was only like Germans and Russians, and then you got this holy shit, so much penetration gun. But nowadays it's not that good anymore. Well, it is still good, but there's different tanks that have the same penetration and they have auto loaders, or they have just better DPM, or they're tank destroyers with 750 alpha. So M103 is kind of meh, mediocre. It falls in the middle of the all things, and it doesn't really excel at anything. For this game, went south, killed south, now going north. Yeah, you have to go all the way around here. You have to go all the way around, so the base campers can't do shit about you, and you can kill their enemies off one by one instead of going in their tank destroyers and dying like an idiot, like my team is gonna do pretty damn soon. And now I'm pretty sure I'm gonna meet the Lova, and I meet him in the perfect time. He's completely out of position. That's like the worst position ever for Lova to meet an M103, and I'm just gonna kill him. There's no doubt about it. And as you see, he pinned my upper plate. Well, he met the meeting point between upper plate and lower plate, so I guess that's a weak spot as well. But then again, if you shoot the turret of this tank, if you don't hit the gun mantlet, or you don't hit the like extreme angles, you'll pen. So shooting the turret cheeks right besides the gun mantlet is always a good idea, no matter what you're driving. Even a KV-1S can pen that, so yeah. Equipment, coated optics, rammer, and burst stab. Optics are always nice for spotting shit, like they help you carry games so much harder. Heavy tank or not, it doesn't matter. Crew skills, sixth sense, uh, of course repairs, snapshot, smooth ride, all the nice stuff. Situational awareness and recon is nice as well, but a bit later. Uh, yeah, that's about it. How to grind this? My advice would be to get the second 120 mil first. See if you like it or not. If you really don't like it a lot, the second gun gets quite a bit better, but if you can deal with the first 120 mil, I recommend you just skip everything. Maybe get the turret. The top turret gets a better view range. Wait, does it? I'm not even sure. But the top turret is better. It gets smaller cupola and shit. So getting that is not a bad idea. But if you are happy with the first 120 mil, I highly recommend you to stick with it and not even bother getting this top 120 mil, because it's kind of a waste if you look at it from just grinding view. For playing for fun, if you want to keep this tank, then of course get the second 120 mil and enjoy your grind. In this game, only TDs and already left to kill. They're of course camping based like proper TDs on swamp, but this time my approach is way too good for them to do anything about it. And this is why you always, when you kill south, you always want to come back to 2 line and go across the water that way. You never want to go 8 line, because there's always DDs camping here, and it's easier to kill off people on 1-2 line than it is to push the 8 line. So that's a tip for this map, and you should always take that tip, and you always should play that. If you kill south, it only means that you have killed maybe 1 or 2, well maybe 3 or 4 people, but if you will start to rush without even thinking about it, you're usually gonna die to these TDs and some other tanks that are camping. So always go back and defend the base and then attack through the other flank. 1 TD and already left. Pretty sure I can, well, I don't really give a shit. I'm just gonna take the shot in the face from the TD and then try to get the arty. And here is the TD. There's the shot. And of course, Ari will shoot me in the face and I will die. So the end of this game is quite sour, but still a decent win. 5.8, almost 6k damage, 4 kills, could have been 5, but then again, who cares really? We win. That's what matters. So that's the game. 2k experience, 80k credits, a bit less of course of the repairs and resupply. But yeah, 5.8k damage, 4 kills, a bit of spawning as well, I believe. So, the M103, it's a decent tank. It's not very good at anything, but it's decent at everything, so you can get along with it quite well. You can have some really frustrating moments with it when everything just spins you through it and you're really frustrated, but overall it's a decent tank. Well, enough with that, now for some channel shit. As I said in previous video, I am streaming quite a lot these days. I stream when Circon isn't streaming, so we don't overlay with each other because that would be kind of silly. So yeah, if you want to see me play live, if you want to ask me some questions or something like that, I usually answer every question that's asked in the chat since I don't get that much viewers at this point. So yeah, if you want to go check that out, link will be in the description and on my YouTube page. So if you're interested in some questions to me, or some other crap, then yeah, sure, check out my stream, and I'll see you there. I probably will be streaming after I upload this video as well, so if you watch this video right after I upload it, then go ahead and check my stream as well, because I should be live. I should be. Yes. Well, that's more or less it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one.